Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Simon Wright. I am the Programming Director of Japan House London, and welcome to this Gyokusendō workshop visit and conversation, which will be happening live from the Gyokusendō workshop in Japan. And we are working with London Craft Week. Welcome to all of you who are coming to us from there as well, and also a part of Live Koba, which we will talk a little bit about later on. So today's event, we'll be exploring the workshop of Gyokusendō, which is in Tsubame in Japan's Niigata Prefecture, and it produces hand-hammered tsuiki copperware and has been doing so for over 200 years. And first of all, let us meet the people from Gyokusendō. Please, before that, please remember that your microphone and webcam will be disabled if you're watching for the entire duration, but you can watch, you can ask questions by using the question and answer function at the bottom of the screen. This session will be recorded on Facebook and also on YouTube for people to see later. And we will last about an hour. So please, can we welcome Yamada-san from Gyokusendō, Yamada Ritsu. Hello, Yamada-san.
こんにちは。おはようございます。
Hello. Hello, good morning, Simon.
Okay, and just to let everybody know, Yamada-san will be interpreted into English by Aya Kurosawa, who is off screen and will be interpreting for the duration of the session. Thank you very much. Okay, how are you, Yamada-san?
そうそうです。ありがとうございます。
Yeah, it's so. Thank you for asking.
And where are you? Where are you now?
今は、日本の新潟の玉泉堂のショールームにいます。
I am in Japan, as you can see, in Gyokusendō's workshop at the moment.
Wonderful, wonderful. I've been lucky enough to be there and to visit on a couple of occasions. It's extremely nice to see you again. And I see, Yamada-san, you were also with Mizouchi-san.
お会いできて光栄です。水内さんもいらっしゃいますよね。Hello. Hello.
Hello, Mizouchi-san. Hello. What a surprise. So for everybody, Mizouchi-san is a master wagamisori maker. Wagamisori are the Japanese razors. And he was also a part of the Japan House Biology of Metal exhibition, which Gyokusendō also took part in 2018. And Mizouchi-san was a huge hit with everybody who met him and the works that he made. Thank you very much. One of his razors there. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. We will be able to talk to Mizouchi-san a little bit later on. But first of all, we will have a quick run through of the history and the processes and what Gyokusendō makes. So if we could go now to the next slide. So we are in Niigata Prefecture, yes? Yamada-san, you are in which city are you in?
I'm Tsubame City now.
And we can have a look. Tsubame City is in Niigata Prefecture, which is in the northwest of Japan, on the coast of the Japan Sea. We have a close-up, I think, of where Tsubame is. Tsubame is part of a region, Tsubame Sanjo, of the two cities which are together, and famous for its metalworking. If we could go to the next slide, please. Yes, and this is examples of the tools and a kettle, which is made here specifically from Gyokusendō. Yamada-san, could you tell us a little bit about this, please?
はい。私たちは銅板を叩いて、器を作り上げるtsuiki銅器という、技術を200年以上にわたって継承してきました。これぐらいの、もっとあるんですけど、さまざまな道具を使って日々、制作をしています。
We specialize in technique called tsuiki, copperware technique, and this is made from a sheet, a single sheet of copperware. It's been hammered into shaping to create these crafts. And there are many different kinds as well, but like not just limited to these that we are showing, but these are the examples and the tools that are used.
Thank you very much. We will be able to see this a little bit later on inside the workshop itself. A wonderful experience to see some of this actually being made in situ. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Now this, for those of us watching from the United Kingdom, is interesting. Yamada-san, could you tell us a little bit about this? I see it says Japan British Exhibition 1910.
ご説明いただけますでしょうか。
はい、私たち玉泉堂とイギリスは非常に古くから、実はちょっと接点がありまして、日本が出ました日本として出ました、日英博覧会1910年の博覧会に出品をしていて、その時には、銀メダルも受賞していました。
The connection between Gyokusendō and the UK dates back for a long time. We had participated as part of Japan British Exposition which happened in 1910, and we were awarded silver medal back then.
でその時にどんな作品が受賞して、おそらくイギリスにそのまま残ったんだと思うんですけれども、今ちょっとどこにあるかわからないので、この後も引き続いて博物館とか、お声掛けしながら探していきたいと思っています。
But the fact is, the vessel that were exhibited back then didn't return to Japan. We suspect that it remained in the UK. So we do not exactly know what was exhibited and where it is. So we are still in search of it, contacting different museums. So the search continues.
It's interesting to know that these pieces, I hope you find it, by the way, or find them at some point. I know we have done a little bit of research. It's interesting to know that Gyokusendō products were used as representations of the new Japan during the Meiji era. It shows you just how important these pieces were considered.
ぜひものが見つかるといいなと思ってるんですけれども、明治のその日英博覧会に選ばれたっていうことは、その玉泉堂の作品がすごく代表的なものだったっていうことを物語っていますよね。
そうですね。あとはもちろんうちだけじゃなくて、いろんな手技のところにお声がかかったんだと思いますけど、ありがたかったのはそうやって割と早いタイミングで外の世界に触れることで、いろんな美術の要素が入ってきて、最初はただ単純に使う道具だけだったものから、アートの要素とか送るとかっていう飾るとか、そんな要素のものが入ってきたっていうのはこの、エキスポに出たからだと思っています。
Yes, but I'm sure they have contacted many different workshops and factories as well. But what was fortunate for us by participating in these world exhibition was that we really took on different elements of crafts making and vessel making as well. So it wasn't simply about creating a daily everyday wear. We incorporated artistic elements, gift giving, and also the fact that these metalware could be an exhibit as well. So it was very fortunate that we encountered that by this experience.
Thank you. So you picked on one piece, that there are pieces which are functional, and there are also pieces which are more of an artistic intention.
あれですね、今ご説明いただいたんですけれども、その生活必需品という面と、そしてその芸術品という面と2つあるっていうことですよね。
そうですね。今でもそうだと思います。
Yeah, exactly. Even today, I would say that's the case.
Okay. So maybe we can have a look at some of the pieces which are made by Gyokusendō today. Maybe you can tell us a bit about this, Yamada-san.
こちらご説明いただけますでしょうか、山田さん、こちらの作品。
はい。これはまあ日常使いといえば日常使いですけど、夜間ですね。よく見ていただくと分かると思いますけど、本体部分と注ぎ口の部分が境目がない、ついでないんで、止めてないんですね。1枚の板から口の部分まで全部一体成形をしている夜間になります。
Yes, so this one is a kettle, as you can see, and probably if we were to categorize it, this would belong in the functional family. However, if you look closely, you don't see any joint mark between the mouth of the kettle and the body of the kettle. So you can tell that it's been made from a single sheet of copperware. So that's the technique that we have developed.
Thank you very much. We have another piece as well, I think. If you could tell us maybe a bit about this.
こちらはコーヒーケトルですね。火にかけてお湯を沸かしていただくような、さらにそのままドリップもしていただけるような形になっています。これは本体と口は、溶接をしているタイプです。
And this is the coffee kettle, which could be put on heat directly, and you could make drip coffee just by this coffee kettle as well. And you can see that this have been jointed later on with the mouth and the body of the kettle.
これはさっきの夜間と比べると割と現代的な形ですけれども、コーヒー好きの職人がいて、彼が一生懸命研究をして5、6年前から発売をしています。
And this one is a bit more contemporary shaped compared to the previous kettle, but it was made by a craftsman who favors coffee, and he did a long research, and we have managed to make this about 5-6 years ago.
Wonderful, thank you. I think we have another piece as well that is representative of Gyokusendō's work.
こちらは茶筒と茶さじですね。一枚一枚微調整しているので密閉度が高くて、お茶がしけにくい形状になっています。
And this is the tea storage, and it's extremely it stores it's made from metal, so it blocks any moisture out. It stores in airtight condition.
It's extremely tightly fitting, isn't it? The airtight, as you just said, exactly, so that it fits so closely together that the tea doesn't get damp. What I'm really interested in, Yamada-san, is this texture that you see on all of these pieces.
この表面を一つ一つ金槌で叩いているので、その一打一打の跡が残っていまして、それは職人によってやっぱり癖とか力の入れ方とか右利き左利きとかによってもいろいろ個体差が出てきます。
Yes, exactly. All these marks are from the hammering, each hammer that the craftsmen have made on the metal sheet, and it's really representative of how individuals work as well. It's all different depending on which hand is their dominant hand, so you can tell whether somebody's right-handed or left-handed, and all the patterns vary for that reason.
So has this technique been used from the very beginning? I know that Gyokusendō started in 1816, is that correct? Has this technique been there from the very beginning?
最初からもちろん同じような製法でやってますけど、こういう色をつけるようになったのは、まだ100年ぐらいだと思います。ただ叩いて形を作るっていうところは最初から200年前から変わらずやってます。
Yes, the hammering technique has been there from the very beginning, more than 200 years ago now. But the coloring technique was developed about 100 years ago, I would say. So, but yes, the original hammering technique has been there throughout our time.
Okay, wonderful.
ごめんなさい。作るアイテムはやっぱりその時代時代によって全く違うものを作っています。初代はやかんを作ってたんですけど、やかんとかたらいとか生活の道具を作ってたんですが、景気がいい時代は飾るもの、花瓶だとか大きい額皿だとか、そんなものを作ってました。また最近はやっぱりテーブルの上で使われるものが多くなってきていますね。
Yes, but the items that we create have changed throughout time. In the beginning of our inception of the workshop, we have created a lot of functional goods, so kettles and washing bowls. But when the economy boomed in Japan, there were lots of decorative items, elaborate items, so vases and also displaying plates as well. And we have created recently, and we have gone back into creating more of functional items.
Okay, thank you very much. We will see actually some of the coloring techniques and variations when we go to the workshop. But for this more functional wear, maybe we can go to the next slide. Yamada-san, can you tell us who this is, please?
はい。彼は玉川則夫と言いまして、先代6代目の弟になります。もともとは玉泉堂で、玉泉堂の作品を作ってたんですけど、個人的に、木眼鏡という技法を駆使して、2010年に人間国宝に認定をされました。
Yes, this is Norio Tamagawa. He's a sixth generation master of craftsman of Gyokusendō, and he has developed his own technique called mokumegane, and he was designated the living national treasure in Japan in 2011.
Maybe
木眼鏡というのが、
ごめんなさい。
次のスライド、はい、こういう作品ですね。木の年輪のように見えるので木眼鏡と呼ばれています。
And this is the example of his craft ware. The reason why his technique is called mokumegane is he has developed the technique to create the wooden pattern, with rings like patterns on his copperware. So
that's right. It's like the grain in polished wood, isn't it? Yamada-san, how is this grain pattern created?
これは実は3種類の金属を重ねています。3種類っていうのが銅と、赤く見える部分が銅です。銀色っぽく見える部分が銀です。青黒い部分が赤銅という銅に、金が 3% ぐらい混じった金属を使っています。
Yes, these color differences are created by combining three different kinds of metals. The red part is copper, and the silver is silver, and the black part is made from reddened copper. So it's copper with 3% of gold mixed in, and these colors are combined together.
それぞれの板が8センチ角なんですが、こういう花瓶だとおそらく30枚ぐらいを、重ね、ます。でそれを熱して一体化したものを叩いて薄く伸ばして、でそれを伸ばした後に削ると、削った深さによってこの金属そのものの色が出てきます。
And each metal comes in sheets of the size is about 8 centimeters square, and all three of them are combined, and they are hammered into making it into a thin sheet, and they are being put on the furnace, and then made into thinner ware to create the shape, being shaped into this.
Okay, thank you very much. Shall we go on to the next slide, because I know that we're keen to go to the workshop. This is the entrance to Gyokusendō, yes?
はい、そうですね。このまま飛ばしていきましょう。はい。
Shall we skip this actually?
Should we go through? Okay, so this is the garden of Gyokusendō. Beautiful. That's the room where you are now.
はい、今、私たちがそうです。おっしゃる通り。
Exactly. We are here.
And then outside that that reception room, there is a small corridor, just right in front of you, I think, there, Yamada-san. And that goes through to this workshop where the tsuiki copperware is made. Here is a picture of them. It's all tatami, yes?
そうです。
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're all working on a room which is covered with tatami mats. And we'll see a little bit.
今は21名の職人が日中は働いています。
We have 21 craftsmen working during the day.
So the first, the copper is hammered, yes?
はい。銅板を叩いて、成形をしていくんですね。
Yes, exactly. So we hammer the copper to shape them and create into these shapes.
And then?
で、銅は叩くと硬くなりますし、後からうちの大きな特徴である色にも関係しますが、こうやって焼いて、叩いては焼いて、叩いては焼いてっていうのを繰り返しながら成形を進めていきます。
And yes, and copper hardens as it hammers, and afterwards we put them on the furnace. It's really partly to color them, and which is one of the signature traits of our copperware, to change its color as well, and then create the shapes, finalize the shaping of it.
Okay. And maybe the
さら
next
に
one.
大きい特徴は、はい、着色がうちの大きい特徴で、何か外側から塗るんではなくて、金属そのものを化学変化によって色付けをしています。
And as I've explained, colors of our copperware is one of the signature traits, but they haven't been colored using adding any colors afterwards. It's more of a chemical reaction of the metal. So we vary it by oxidization of the metal.
Okay.
これはうちの一番特徴的なうちを代表する色ですね。青みたいな、緑みたいな、ちょっと光の当たり方によって見え方が変わる、うちの代表的な色です。
And this is the representative signature color of Gyokusendō. And depending on the angle you are looking at, it could be blue, it could be green. This sort of iridescent shade on the metal is our signature color.
Ah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I think now we have the chance, Yamada-san, the very fortunate chance. It's a very precious occasion to go into the workshop.
わかりました。じゃあ、ワークショップの方にご案内します。
Okay, yes, I will take you to the workshop now.
Wonderful, thank you very much. We will be returning to the showroom a little bit later on. We'll be able to talk to Mizuochi-san as well again there. In the meantime, as we're moving down that corridor, I think internet connection is a little weak in some places as it moves through the Gyokusendō premises. Just to let you know that this is being recorded and you will be able to see this on Facebook Live and YouTube as well later. And if you have any questions for Yamada-san, or indeed we're going to be meeting a member of the Gyokusendō family, Tamagawa Tatsushi. If you have any questions for him, and if you have any questions for Mizuochi-san later on as well, then please do send them through the question and answer function at the bottom. I think we've made it to the workshop. Hello.
Oh.
Hello. It's Tamagawa-san. Tamagawa Tatsushi, who came to visit us in London 2 years ago as well. Welcome. Thank you.
A long time no see, Simon-san. Hello.
Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again. Tamagawa-san, maybe you could tell us you are which generation of the Gyokusendō workshop?
玉川さんは何代目でいらっしゃいますか？
私は7代目のいとこになります。
I am the 7th generation, but the cousin of the 7th generation master.
And Tamagawa-san came to us, and also you met Prince William when you were here at
ウィリア
Japan.
ム王子にもジャパンハウスでお会いされましたよね。
そうですね、光栄なことに、握手もさせてもらいました。はい。
Yes, it was an honor. I shook his hand.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Good memories. Thank you. It's good to see you. Maybe can you please explain the processes? I know that you have some things laid out there. Could you explain the processes of this tsuiki copperware, please?
またお会いできて嬉しいです。この追記の銅器の作り方をちょっとご説明いただけますでしょうか？
はい。じゃあ、説明をしたいと思います。
Yes, of course. I will start explaining.
こちらに並んでる作業工程があります。1枚の銅板から叩いて、最終的にはここまで作る。これ特別に本体と注ぎ口がつなぎ目がないタイプの、これは急須の工程になります。口打ち出しという工程になります。
And these show the process of how the kettle is made from a single sheet of copper from on the left bottom left, and it goes to the top left of the copper kettle that is that doesn't have any joint between the mouth and the body of the kettle, as we have explained, by hammering the copper.
これ叩いて形を作りますので、技法で言うと鍛金と言います。
And this is that, as I explained, we shape it by hammering the copper, and the technique is called tanking.
で、鍛金はすごく道具がたくさん必要になります。
And this tanking technique requires many different utensils.
最初はこちらにこう座って叩く上がり板と呼びます。
And this is called agariban. It's artisan's wooden block.
素材は木を使っています。
And this wood is Zelkova tree.
当然叩きますので、金槌もたくさん必要になります。
As we are hammering to shape them, many different types of hammers are required.
いろんな形、大きさがあります。
Many different shapes of them, and also the sizes of them are required.
200種類以上はあります。
More than 200 types of hammers and mallets we have in our workshop.
もう一つ、金槌の相方になるこちらの道具があります。
And this metal item is paired with the hammer.
こちらに当てがう道具、当て金、もしくは形が鳥のくちばしにも似ているので、鳥口とも呼びます。
And this is the Anvil Stakes. We have a name in Japanese called, we call them toriguchi, because the shape of them is similar to the bird's beak.
こちらもここの角度が、品物の大きさとか形が変わるたびに変えないといけませんので、玉泉のもたくさん用意してます。200種類以上あります。
And this particular part, the shape and the angle needs to fit exactly of the shapes that we are making the copperware into. So we have the more than 200 types of Anvil Stakes too.
で、叩き方としては、金槌に当てて叩きますので、物としてはすごく伸びるんですけども、私たちは詰めるとか縮めるという言い方をします。
And the technique, because we are hammering the copperware, technically speaking, we are stretching them, but the way we call them is shrinking. We are shrinking the copper.
ここの口の径を縮めていきます。
So the size of the opening is being shrunk, as you can see, from the beginning to the end.
少し叩いてみます。
I will hammer some to show you the example of it.
でここまでは叩いてあるんですけども、ここは叩いていないので、ここを今から叩いていきます。
So as you can see, I have hammered up until this point, but the end, the top part, I haven't. So I will show you how they're done.
で叩いてないところを叩くときに、この取り口の面になじませて叩くと、形がすぼまってくれません。
And the unhammered part, if you place the copper like this, exactly adjacent to the anvil stakes, it won't change its shape. So we have to make sure that it's slightly raised.
叩くときには、ここの場所を浮かせて叩いてへこましていきます。
So the copperware needs to be raised and make sure that there is a space in between in order to change its shape.
今から叩いていきます。
Let me hammer some.
で最後まで叩くと、ここがまっすぐの角度になりますので、浮かせた分だけが径が縮まることになります。
As you can see, now it's level with the bottom part. So because I was raising it slightly, now everything is in smooth angle now.
で、これを最後まで叩くとすごく硬くなります。硬いまま、これ角度をつけて叩こうと思っても無理がかかりますので、柔らかくします。
And if we hammer it till the end, copper hardens too much, so we won't be able to change its shape. So we will make it softer.
ちょっと場所を移動して焼き生しをします。
I will show you the technique that we use by annealing.
これはコークスの炉になります。
And this is the furnace.
少しずつ赤くなっていく。
You can see the color of the copper has changed. It's more red now.
で 下の方が赤くなる。これでも柔らかくなる。
The bottom part has turned red, and you can tell that it's soft by the change of the color.
で、この素材の銅は真っ赤なものをそのまま水の中に急冷してもあまり硬くならないです。
And the characteristics of softening technique is that even if you put this into cold water, the softness doesn't change so much.
熱伝導率がすごく高いですので、水が冷たければもうこれですぐ触れます。
And the heat resistance the heat transparent rate is very high. So even if we cooled it down, we can just touch it right away.
で、冷やしてもこれ柔らかいままです。これを押すともうぐにゃっとこんな感じで曲がります。
And as I explained, even if we cooled it with water, it's still soft. So as you can see, it has changed its shape very easily.
これ柔らかくなりますので、また向こうのところで叩いて変形させることができます。
As it's soft, it's very easy for us to hammer and change its shape.
でまた叩くと硬くなるので、またこちらの方で焼き直しての繰り返しで形を作っていきます。
But as we hammer, it hardens, so we come here to soften it again, and then is the repeat of that process.
こちらの特別な口打ち出しは、そういうのを15、6回繰り返して形を徐々に作っています。
And this tsuiki technique, kuchiuchidashi, we repeat this process for 15 or 16 times to create this shape.
これは特別です。一般的なものは別です。
But this technique is special. Other wares are made with different techniques.
本体と注ぎ口が別で作るものが一般的です。
Generally speaking, kettles are made separately. So the mouth and the actual body of the kettle are made separately and then joined later on.
こちらの本体も、今のような説明でも作れるんですけども、少し機械的に作ることもできますので、少し安く、お値段的には安く作ることができます。
And this more common technique could be made cheaper because it's easier to mass produce commercially.
こちら完全に手作りになりますので、時間も1週間ぐらいかかって、結構値段も高くなってきます。
But our kettle, kuchiuchidashi, requires a lot more process. It takes about a week, and then it's a little bit more expensive. It's all handmade.
でもう一つ特徴的なものがこれ着色になります。
And another signature of ours is coloring.
で他のところと違うのはこの錫っていうの違う金属をつけて焼くことが、焼きますとここが銅と錫の合金ができるのがここが他のところとはちょっと違う着色の下地になります。
And we use different technique of combination of different metals by create not only using copperware but tin as well. So we combine the two to create these tones.
すべて叩き終わって着色になりますけども、こういうふうに音声の元をつけたりとか、いろいろ価格変化で色を変えていきます。
And after we hammered the copper and then finishing shaping them, we color the copper as well by oxidization, and you can tell the examples that we have here.
色の磨き方は手で磨くしかないので、ここでもやっぱりすごく手間がかかる、場所になります。
And the polishing can only be done by hand in our workshop, so that is very a time-consuming process as well.
では簡単ですけども、工場的な、説明はこれで終わりになります。
Thank you. That is the process that we go through at the workshop.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you very much, Tamagawa-san. That was wonderful.
ありがとうございます。
I'm very happy to see you in the workshop again.
工場でのお姿が見れて大変嬉しいです、玉川さん。
ありがとうございます。こちらも久しぶりにサイモンさんの顔が見れてますからね。嬉しいです。
Thank you. It's very happy to see you as well, Simon-san.
Thank you. But what was very impressive, I think, was being able to see the furnace at work. Thank you so much for demonstrating that and for staying later in the evening in Tsubame. Thank you so much.
特にその炉の工程で火に当てる様子が見れて大変嬉しかったです。お時間過ぎてますのに工場に残っていただいてありがとうございました。
いつも仕事はしてますので、その辺は大丈夫です。
Don't worry about it. I stay long, generally speaking, so thank you. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
I think it's about time we're going to now return to the showroom. So thank you very much indeed, Tamagawa-san. Just to tell you a little bit about the story, maybe of how I got to know Gyokusendō. I visited the factory festival, which is like an open factory festival in the first weekend of October every year, where all the factories and workshops associated with metalworking are open to the public just for one weekend. And as a result of that visit, we were able at Japan House London to create an exhibition called Biology of Metal. And this exhibition looked specifically at the various metalworking techniques and processes and the evolution of metalworking in the area of Tsubame Sanjo. And Gyokusendō itself, of course, is in Tsubame. And here in this picture, which was taken during the exhibition, which was in 2018, between September and October 2018. And you can see we had one of the displays was especially about Gyokusendō. I see we're back in the showroom. Hello everybody. Hello Yamada-san. Hello. Hello. Well done. Thank you. Well done. Thank you. That was wonderful to have a look. I'm just talking about the Biology of Metal exhibition. And again, we're joined by Mizuochi-san, who is the of the Japanese razors, the Wagamisori, from the Sanjo Seisakusho. We actually have a question. This is for Yamada-san, but also maybe for Mizuochi-san as well. But Yamada-san first. We have a question from somebody saying they'd love to hear about the new recruits to the workshops. Are there any apprentices at Gyokusendō?
玉泉堂でのその弟子のことについての質問があったんですけれども、弟子などはいらっしゃるんでしょうか、山田さん。
玉泉堂に関しては、この4、5年はおかげさまで毎年、数十人の学生さんの応募がありまして、まあ、1人か2人雇う感覚の年が続いています。
Yes, we do have apprentices. We have been fortunate, actually. We receive about 40 to 50 applications from students every year for the last 5-6 years or so. And we do recruit about 1 or 2, maybe, and that's been our annual pattern. So we have been very fortunate.
Thank you. And of course, the Gyokusendō workshop is quite large. But of course, when we Mizuochi-san, you have a workshop of well, in 2018, when we first showed your razors, maybe we can have a close-up of the razors actually.
Wagamisori, もう一度見せていただけますでしょうか? Sorry.
And Mizuochi-san was working alone in his in his workshop. Oh, thank you, Mizuuchi. So, Mizuuchi-san,
はい。
Mizuuchi-san,
you were alone in your workshop in 2018 when we did the exhibition, and everybody I told was so interested and so wanting your skills of making these wagami sori to be passed on. You didn't have a deshi, you didn't have an apprentice in 2018. Do you have an apprentice now?
2018年にお話したときは、水落さん、弟子がいらっしゃらないとおっしゃっていて、本当にこの技術を持っているのは水落さんだけだというので、皆さん驚いていらっしゃったんですけども、今は弟子はいらっしゃるんでしょうか？
はい。1年半くらい前に、三条市の方で、新規家事人材という、市の方で、予算を取ってくれまして、給料を出してくれるんです。
Yes, I do have an apprentice now. A year and a half ago, the Sanjo City had started a scheme of funding the craftsmen to hire an apprentice, and they have designated a budget for that. So now the salary of the apprentice is being paid by the city.
It's such good news to hear, Mizuuchi-san. Everybody was so impressed by you and by your work, and to know now that you have an apprentice and that you're able to pass on all these skills is such good news. We're very, very happy.
本当に素晴らしいお知らせです、水落さん。イギリスの皆も本当に水落さんのですね、技術や作品に本当に感銘しておりましたので、その技術が継承されるということを大変喜んでおります、弟子の方に。
はい、ありがとうございます。それで、1年半前に、18歳のハイスクール、高校卒業した青年が今入ってくれて、毎日一緒に仕事をしております。
Yes, thank you. So through that scheme, I have hired an apprentice of 18 years old. He was just after graduating high school. So we work together every day.
It's superb news. I mean, Mizuuchi-san, there must be. You don't mind my saying. How old are you now, Mizuuchi-san?
水落さん、差し支えなければお年齢をお伺いしてもよろしいでしょうか？おいくつですか？
はい、ただいま78歳です。
Yes, I am 78 years old.
So there's this wonderful partnership which has now with a result of his having a deshi who's about 60 years, 50 years his junior, and I wish you the best of luck with that. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much indeed.
本当に素晴らしいニュースです。若い方と一緒に水落さんが働けているということで、本当に今後もいいパートナーシップを築いていかれることを大変望んでおります。どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next slide. I think Yamada-san wanted to maybe talk about this next slide.
はい。その BOM、バイオロジーメタルの展示の時に、サイモンさんが思い出したと。燕三条にいらした時に思い出したという一つのフレーズがこちらです。
And so this is the phrase that Simon taught us when he came to visit in Tsubame Sanjo when we were exhibiting for the biology of metal.
はい。この言葉を今このCOVID-19 の影響を僕らやっぱり手仕事の人間はみんな大きい影響を受けています。
And I think I can say on behalf of a lot of craftsmen here in our region, we are really feeling the effects of COVID-19.
要するになかなか売り先がないというかお店が閉まっちゃった時期が多かったもんですから、なかなか作ったものが売れなくて、みんな本当にこの後どうなるのかなという不安な時期がすごく続きました。
And the reason for that is a lot of the shops were closed, so we didn't have any outlets to sell the products that we made. So there had been a long period of uncertainty, and we didn't know what would happen in the future.
だけどまさにこの言葉の通りに今までのことを踏まえて、細々とでも、火を絶やさないで次の世代にバトンタッチしていくことを今本当にかみしめながら毎日、働いているところです。
But we are trying to go by exactly what this phrase represents. And so we are trying to take a day as it comes and also passing on the flame that we have cultivated, the techniques that we have cultivated over the years as well, to pass it on to the future generations.
Thank you very much. We have, of course, at this time we have normally during the years until 2020, this time would have been the Koban no Saiten time, the time of the factory festival, actually at this time at the beginning of October. Can we have, yes, thank you. This is an image from one of the past factory festivals. Yes?
僕らは通常でしたら10月の初めには、普段は空いてないただ品物を作っている町工場を開放して、お客様に見てもらう、オープンファクトリーイベントを7年間やってきました。
Yes, generally speaking, so up until this year, we have been running the Open Factory Festivals, as you have explained, in the beginning of October. And for the last 7 years, we were running it. A lot of the factories that aren't open normally would open up to the general public to showcase their work and how they've been made.
ところが今年は残念ながら COVID-19 の影響で、このイベントも中止をせざるを得ませんでした。
However, due to the pandemic, we needed to cancel the festival as well, unfortunately.
準備に時間がかかるものですから5月には中止を決めまして、ただ中止っていうのは簡単なんですけど、それだけだともったいないので、こういうポスターを作って、私たちまずこういうポスターを作ってまず貼り出しました。
And the preparation for the factory festival takes a long time, so we decided to cancel the event back in May, but just cancelling would have been easy, but we decided to go a step further. We created this poster and then put them up around the city.
で、まずこれを見た皆さん、全員が安全に生活できるようにというところと、それからこの COVID-19 の影響で苦しい、工場の皆さんにも頑張ってこれからみんなで行こう頑張ろうよというメッセージを込めたポスターを街中に貼り出しました。
So we have posted throughout the city that is to encourage to lift everyone's mood in the city as well by wishing everyone to stay safe. But also this is for the craftsmen as well, for the factory workers who needed to persevere. We wanted to lift their mood as well. So they were posted everywhere.
And so instead of the factory festival taking place this year inside the workshops and factories, it's now gone online, yes?
あれですよね、工場でのフェスティバルではなくてオンラインのイベントに移されたということですよね。
はい、新しい試みとして、今先ほどご覧いただいたようなオンラインでの、工場見学ですとか、もともと動画を撮ったものを編集して流すということを毎日、テーマを変えてオンライン上で流すという取り組みを新しく始めました。
Yes, it's a new attempt on our part. But as you have seen in this session, we open factories to do an open online factory visit. But also we edit the contents that we have made before, and also we edit the videos as well that were pre-existing to send the link every day of the week.
午後のライブは日本時間の8時とそれから午後の2時からそれぞれ放送しますが、 午後の放送は英語の通訳が入らないので、なかなか分かりにくいかも分かりませんが、午前中の映像は音がなくて、言葉はなくても十分ご理解いただけると思うので、ぜひイギリスの皆さんにもご覧いただきたいです。
And we have 2 sessions per day, 8 a.m. start and 2 p.m. start. The afternoon session tends to be all in Japanese without any translation. However, the morning sessions, they don't require any languages. You can just see the images and videos and you would understand. So it would be great if we could get the British audience to tune in as well to see the event.
Thank you very much indeed. I feel that we're a part of this year's Koba no Saiten as well, so I'm very happy. Thank you very much indeed. Good luck with it all. We have a few minutes left for some questions, and if you don't mind, we have Yamada-san from Gyokusendō and Tamagawa-san from Gyokusendō, but we also have, thank you very much for joining us again there, and we also have Mizuuchi-san from the Sanjo Seisakusho. I have a question here, I believe, coming through now. The workshop is very impressive, but I can't help admiring the huge pieces of wood in the workshop. Are these a very specific kind of wood, specific type of trees they need to be sourced from?
その工場の様子に大変感銘を受けたんですけれども、木がありましたよね。この座ってらした木の大きさにが素晴らしいなと思ったんですけれども、あれは特別な木なんでしょうか。どこから持ってきてるんですか。
特別というわけじゃないですけども、かなり年月は必要になるので、結構大きさが必要になりますので、ですから、結構前もって予約をして、かなりの年月を持って、あとは大きくなってもまた、ちょっと乾燥しないと割れるとかありますので、その知り合いの材木屋さんからこう何年間か寝かしてとか、結構年数は必要になる道具になります。
Yes, they're not special type of wood. However, you need to make sure that they are booked in advance because they need to grow into a certain size. And then it needs to be dry in texture as well, otherwise it would crack. So we do work very closely with the wooden workshops to make sure that it could be sourced well in advance.
Thank you. We have another question here about the furnace. What fuel do you use in the furnace inside the Gyokusendō workshop? And is it coal? Is it propane gas? What do you use?
そして炉なんですけれども、使われている燃料は何を使われているんですか。石炭ですか、それともプロパンガスですか。なんか他にも。
コークスってわかりますかね。炭をちょっと蒸し焼きにしたようなもので、かなり高温になるものになります。コークスです。
So we use cogs. I don't know if people are aware of that particular material, but it's smoked coal. So it reaches into even a higher temperature than normal coal.
And is there an advantage? Is there an advantage of using coke?
このコークスを使うのにその利点はあるんですか。高温になることですか。それともそれ以外にありますか。
そうですね。やっぱりこう銅を焼きなましにするときにも早く、焼きなましできますし、あとはその着色の時に錫をつけて焼くときですね。その時にもかなり高温になると全体に均一に焼きやすくなるので、そういう、高温になるものがちょっと必要になります。
Yes, the fact that it reaches higher temperature quickly makes it easier for the coal to be for the copper to be shaped as well. But also when we are coloring it using with tin as well, we need the higher temperature. So that's why it makes the coloring technique a lot smoother too. So that's why.
Okay, thank you. We have one question here. Does each worker have their own place in the workshop?
職人の方々はそれぞれに場所が決まってるんですか？一人の場所っていうのがあるんでしょうか？
ある程度決まってます。
あ、
それでも、やっぱり年数が経ったりとか、たまに場所の移動はあったりもしますけども、ある程度決まって、で、またこう若手が入ったときは、少し、年配で卒業した人の場所に行くとか、その時によって違いますけども、一応決まっています。
Mostly, most of the workers have a designated space, but it could be fluid slightly, especially when we have a new addition of young workers, then they might take on the place that where there was a retired craftsman there. So like there are slight shifts, but mostly, yes, we do have a space for each.
Okay, thank you. I think we have maybe a few more minutes. We've got lots of questions coming in, so if people don't mind, we have time for maybe
あ
3.
とちょっとですね、すごくたくさん質問が来ているので、もしお時間差し支えなければ数個答えていただきたいんですけども、よろしいでしょうか？あと数分。
Thank you very much. One question here. Could you tell us more about the handles of the tea and coffee of the kettles? How are these handles made, and what are they made from? And is this a separate craft?
そのやかんやケトルを見せていただいたんですけれども、この取っ手の部分のご説明をいただけますでしょうか？どうやって作ってるんでしょうか？それとも後でこれはつないでいるんでしょうか？
そうですね。これ今用意したものが2種類ありますけども、こちら、このつるってのが、わかりますかね？カズラのつるとかっていう、一応天然の木の枝、つるになります。これがちょっと今、少なくなってきてますけども、これを巻いています。で、これは、この中は銅がくっついています。それで巻いています。で、こちらは、とりあえずこれを、それを巻いているような状態になります。
Yes, so these handles are made separately, but they have been wrapped with creeper. So it's the thin strips of soft branch, and they're natural materials. And after they've been jointed together with the main body of the kettle, we would wrap them, and then that's really how it's done, as you can see.
で、こちらは、すごく正直なことを言えば、一つこう違う真鍮の線っていうのが一本入っています。そこから、このつるだけで作っている、巻いているような状態になります。
And this particular type of kettle, we do have one metal pole that goes that is used as the core of this handle for this kettle. But yes, they are also being wrapped with the creeper branch plant as a natural material to make it into a handle.
Thank you very much. We've got so many people are saying, Tamagawa-san especially, thank you so much for your clear instructions and explanations. Thank you so much. A lot of people are very grateful.
たくさんの方々からコメントがありまして、玉川さん、特に本当に分かりやすいご説明をありがとうございました。すごく分かりやすかったです。大変。
ありがとうございます。
Many people are saying that. Thank you. We also have several questions asking, maybe this is for you, Tamagawa-san. Do you take female apprentices?
たくさんの方々からまた質問が来てるんですけども、これも玉川さんに当てても質問かもしれません。女性の弟子は取るんですか？いらっしゃるんですか？
そうですね。先ほども言ったように、20人から30人毎年応募があります。その応募が、すごく、応募が来るときはやっぱ女性がほとんど多いんですね。ですから、女性を選ぶというよりは、選んだ人が女性という感じで、男性、女性、何か分けて選んでるわけではないと思います。社長が選んでますけど。はい。
Yes, we, as I explained, we do have many applicants, more than 20, 30 a year. And a lot of the applicants are female applicants, actually. And we don't discriminate against gender. our CEO selects who gets in as an apprentice, but like we do have both male and female apprentices.
Thank you very much. I think that's really all we've got time for today, unfortunately. I am so happy to have been able to see you. Thank you very much. Yamada-san, thank you so much for Tamagawa-san, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you. And Mizuochi-san, thank you so much for joining us as well. What a wonderful surprise. All of the questions, I'm so sorry that we don't have time for all the questions coming through. There are a lot of similar questions about apprenticeships, of course. As you can see, it's possible to continue to do this. If you feel like it, please do apply. We had so many questions about that when we had craftspeople over from Tsubame Sanjo actually in London for the Biology of Metal exhibition. It's wonderful to know that Mizuochi-san's craft is being continued. That is extraordinarily heartwarming. I must commend Gyokusendō for all the work that you do in continuing this handcraft. It is extremely impressive. I have to thank you so much for having spent the time today to show us around the workshop. We are very proud as Japan House London to have been a part of what you helped create for Biology of Metal. And I wish you every success with Koba Live this year, and also for Koba no Taiten, hopefully, fingers crossed, next year in 2021. Before we disappear, I'll just run through some very quick slides. We from Japan House London, we have another studio visit, which is also for London Craft Week. That's on Thursday this week. That is with the textile artist Takahashi Hiroko in Sumida in Tokyo. And that's at 11 o'clock on Thursday the 8th, British Summer Time. We also have a panel discussion coming up on Thursday the 15th of October about the making of the film Ainu, Indigenous People of Japan, with participants from Biratori in Hokkaido. That will be extraordinarily interesting, I'm sure. We have the current exhibition, Japan House London is open. We are taking bookings for Architecture for Dogs. Please do come along and see that. That is open until January the 10th. We also have an interactive display of some of the pieces from Architecture for Dogs as well in Japan House London. Please bring your friend, your four-legged friend, along with you, and see if he or she can interact with some of the pieces that we have. These pieces will also go out onto a roadshow in various venues in London. Please look at our website for details about that. Thank you very much indeed. That's all we have time for. Yamada-san, Tamagawa-san, Mizuochi-san, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to see you. I hope we can get to see you again soon. Please come to London again. And I hope to be able to go to Tsubame Sanjo when I can in the near future too. Thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed. As your posters say, stay safe and good luck. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.